What's good, YouTube? This your man Spill Dog. Man, after watching Keith Thurman fight Tuesday and seeing that he still got it, he still got the power. You can see that he still got that desire to fight, which I wasn't sure about, to be honest with you, for some time. I think truly that it's kind of a sad story, and what I mean by that is, out of all these fighters from 154 to 147, Keith Thurman had the biggest, to me, he had the biggest opportunity to be box office. Where he could be like Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao, one of these big popular champions, because Keith was a damn good fighter in the ring, and he was a damn good uh, promoter of his fights outside the ring. You put if Keith is on top of his game as far as health wise, and you put him in a ring with a real opponent, you finna get what you looking for. You finna get what you looking for, cause Keith finna come in there and he gonna fight hard. He know how to box. He know how to bang. When Keith Thurman, people always say, yeah, but Keith get hurt to the body. But Keith know how to survive once he get hurt. He has shown that, and I think in 3 or 4 different fights against high caliber fighters where he got hurt early in the round to the body and survived the whole round and come out the next round and actually win that next round. That's class. That's class in the ring. That's an elite level fighting. That's what elite fighters do. The fans be so fickle. It's boxing. People supposed to get hurt sometimes. You're not gonna go in there every fight and just be Floyd Mayweather, where you just go in there and put in your work and don't get no work back done to you. Most times, especially when it's pay-per-view, and it's the main event, you got, for the most part, as close as you can get, usually to even competition that in the ring, and it's supposed to be drama on both sides. It's not supposed to be one-sided like that. I think sometimes the fans can get the wrong impression, because I'm not going to sit up here and say we don't get no good fights, because we do, but we do get a lot of shows too. We get just as many shows as we do fights. So when people have gotten accustomed to shows where it really, where the fighter's coming in there and just basically practicing on some dude that ain't got no business in the ring with him, when they see a guy in a real fight, they over panic. Oh man, he a bum. He ain't shit. He finna woo woo. No, he just got in there with somebody that's on his level, and he had a tough fight. That's part of boxing. But Keith Thurman was a guy, he got the mentality where he can take a loss and still come back out here and be the same Keith Thurman he was when he was winning. He got character. He know how to recover from a fumble. When he lost to Manny Pacquiao, he didn't go hide. He didn't go hide. He didn't go drift off to another country, never to be seen again, and shit like that. I mean, now he ain't gonna be sitting out talking every day. The fight over, it is time to do some traveling and enjoy some of your money. But at some point, you need to come out here and address your fans, the people that helped you who put the money in your pockets, that they going out there spending. And what killed me the most is when a fighter go in there, especially when it's his fault, and get their ass whooped, and then want to get mad at the fans because they speak on it. If you can't take criticism, then don't be so giddy when you get a little praise. Real shit, you gotta take the bitter with the sweet, and that's in life in general. It's amazing how these guys feel like all they supposed to do is get complimented. Sometimes a little constructive criticism is good, even for parents. Especially when you don't know everything and you ain't doing everything right. You know, the closest I seen to perfect in that boxing ring is Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I seen him get caught. I seen him get hurt. I seen him get knocked down. This is boxing. This kind of stuff happen. It ain't no harm. That shit happen in the streets. If you out there for real, and you getting down for yours, and you ain't picking and choosing who you thump with, yeah, you gonna lose one. Might lose a bunch of them. Ain't nobody bad enough to whoop every motherfucker. Ain't nobody that bad. I don't care how bad you is to somebody that's probably 5 or 10 times better. You just ain't ran up on them yet. So, for me, I look back out of all the guys from 154 on down, tell me who would have had a better chance being a star than Keith Thurman. Tell me who has the gift of gab, the personality, along with the boxing skills from 154 on down, better than Keith Thurman. Tell me who. I think that was some of the hate, because a lot of fighters, it ain't just Earl Spence. There's a lot of these fighters that don't like Keith, and I think they don't like him because his personality and how good he is in front of the camera. The boy got skills. When his career over, he will do well. Oh man, if he get a podcast, he might eat all these dudes up. Straight up, especially if you go out here and knock one or two more of these dudes out, he can shut it down then and just go and put the podcast up one time. And then everybody gonna tune in. I definitely will, And I gotta say, man, him calling out Earl Spence, he wasting his breath. I don't see Earl fighting no more. I really want to get to the point where we don't discuss him at all as far as in the boxing ring if he not gonna fight. I don't have no problem talking about him as the promoter, But I guess maybe, I don't know, man. But I still think out of all them dudes, I think Keith Thurman was the one. Once again, Keith Thurman is kind of like the same situation I had with Tank and Shakur. I knew who Keith Thurman was way before I knew who Earl Spence was, and I was the biggest Keith Thurman fan damn near in boxing until after I seen, man, what is that dude name that Earl beat? The first dude I seen him beat up real bad, the guy fought Sean Porter. I think he's either, man, what is this motherfucker name? And he's not a bad fighter, but he's just a solid B-level fighter, but it wasn't that he beat him up, it was how he beat him up, on the tip of my tongue. But I watched that fight, then I watched the Van Heerden fight. And like I said, I started watching all of Earl Spence fights, and I liked the way he came forward, working that body, and he was throwing close to 100 punches around. I like a busy, active fighter. And at that time, and see, Earl was jumping in, jumping out. He was getting up on his toes. He was pressing these guys out, but he was changing up and doing different variations as he came in, and it was real. It was good boxing. It really was. It was good boxing, and he just was beating fight after fighter. Now, I didn't know who would win between him and Spence. I felt like Spence was gonna be stronger than Keith and come in heavy in the fight, but Keith's boxing ability and the fact that Keith has power, he got it. I knew that would be a good fight because Keith was gonna land some big shots, and Keith ain't gonna just stand there and be no damn punching bag. So that was a fight everybody felt the same way about that fight to some degree as they did with Crawford, but they might have been 60-40 for Spence because after Danny Garcia, Keith, started taking them longer layoffs. Then he got married, and it just got worse and worse and worse until it got to the point where 2 and 3 years was going by. After the Manny Pacquiao fight, that's when he really was missing in action. So, I think the money had a lot to do with why things went the way it went with Keith. And you really can't fault a guy who didn't come from money to get rich and go out there and start enjoying having fun and spending money and traveling all over the world. Hell no, he don't feel like going out there training and busting his ass like he got to do to go in there and beat these elite level fighters. And I think it damaged him something major, and that's when Earl Spence stole all the shine. Similar to what some people said that Tank came in before Shakur. Some people told me Shakur came in before Tank. I haven't really investigated it, but don't matter who came in first. The one who had the juice coming in was Shakur. I knew all about Shakur before he started fighting professional, but I blame his situation on Bob Arum. I really do. I can't find no way how not to blame Bob Arum for what happened to Shakur Stevens, because he was the promoter. He was supposed to be putting him in much better fights than he did, and I just feel like Lomachenko took all. I just think he didn't want Lomachenko to have to share the real spotlight with nobody else, and he made sure Shakur didn't really shine that bright. That's just my own opinion. I like Bob Arum, but that's how it looked from where I was sitting at. And I just see if Keith Thurman, because he said, if you listen to Keith, he's an intelligent brother. He said something that really, really stuck with me. He said, I'm 37 years old, but he said, but I'm not a shop worn, beat up, like he said, he haven't taken a lot of damage. So it's not like the 36, 37-year-old that have been in all these big bad wars, and a shell of himself. And I agree with that. Now, I did not like him getting caught by that young dude with that big left hook like he did in the first round, but then I thought about it. The same thing happened to Shakur against Padley. And sometimes when a guy ain't nobody that you really know a whole lot about, you just look at a little bit of film of him and you don't respect him like that, you can be a little lackadaisical, I think, on defense. And I feel like some of it could have been ring rust with Keith too, but the bottom line, you cannot get caught like that by Boots, by Bud, by Tim Zoo, for that matter. You can't let no real dog catch you flush like dude did a couple of times earlier. You remember Manny caught him like that and he dropped Keith. And when you're in another country, it's very easy to get robbed on that damn scorecard. If he fight Tim Zoo and don't knock him out, anything can happen if you're over there. Let's just keep it a beating. Zoo shit. Zoo reputation falling apart quickly, and I don't think they're gonna take the fight with Keith Thurman. I wouldn't. I would get him a couple of wins upon his belt and get his confidence back in order before I throw him in there with a dog. I really would. Same way, like if Spence was to come back, he needs somebody like Brock Jarvis to start the thing off with. Somebody where he can go in there and beat him to death and feel like the big fish again, and maybe get motivated when the fans see him go in there and put in some real work. I wouldn't go right out there after being out the ring almost 2 years. This is what happened with Crawford. You can't just keep sitting on the couch and then getting up and think you're just gonna go out here and beat these dudes up who fighting like they supposed to still. So I just think out of all them dudes, Keith Thurman, had he stayed the course and kept the main thing, he'd have been able and kept winning. He had to keep winning too now. But had he done those things right there, he would be getting love just like Floyd and Canelo and people of that matter. Maybe even more because he's a lot more likable. When you listening to him talking, when you interview him, he don't get rude and ignorant unless you ask him a completely disrespectful question. But if you keep the questions within some type of boundaries, he articulate real well, and People like that good for the sport because you can put him on ESPN, you can put him on Fox Sports, you can put him out there on any network when you're trying to sell a fight, and he can communicate what he want to say where everybody can understand him. You need those type of champions holding the belts down, so you can, Keith is a guy that could elevate the sport if he would have stayed on top. Like, definitely, he was a guy that could have reached a lot of other people that ain't pure, true boxing fans, and I just feel like that was a missed opportunity. In boxing as a whole, him falling off like he did, and pushing boxing somewhat on the back burner, and letting this thing get like it done got. But that's it for me on this video. If you like the video, hit the like and subscribe. Till the next time, it's your boy Spill Dog. I'm out.